So we were down one diva at last night's Tony Awards. Patti LuPone did not attend Broadway's biggest night after more than 500 theater professionals signed an open letter asking producers to disinvite her. Ooh. So the uproar came after Patti insulted two Broadway actresses in an interview with The New Yorker. So this was an open letter. Do we think this was justified or a step too far? Connor.
Okay. So I might not be the only one on this table, but I have worked with her.
Oh,
I have met her.
Yeah.
So spill the tea.
I directed the GLAAD Awards, which is like a Happy Pride, a gay award show in Los Angeles. Happy Pride. And I met Patti. I was backstage. This frantic woman came running up to me and saying, "I have chicken in my teeth. Can you look?" And she looked at me. She smiled as big as can be. There it is.
Oh my
and
gosh.
I was flossing her teeth. I'm flossing her teeth like this.
Oh my gosh.
That's intimate.
I said, "Patti, you got a chicken thigh in your teeth." And so I come here from a different perspective because I've worked with her.
Yeah.
And she was lovely. She was respectful. She was nice. However, that was my experience. Patti is arguably one of the most prolific Broadway actors of all time.
Yeah.
That doesn't excuse her behavior to belittle, and there were some racial microaggressions, to other performers, to other plays, other productions. And I think at the end of the day, Patti is so powerful that she thinks she can get away with things.
Oh.
And so the inevitable reaction is when someone gets very powerful, they get in their head, and she got checked on it.
Yep.
And I think it is rightfully so being checked on it. So,
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
She has apologized.
She's apologized. She's apologized. I am a little shocked they didn't put her in the in memoriam last night at the Tonys.
Oh my God, that would have been so funny.
Because that's what I was thinking. I was thinking, if you piss off the theater community,
Yeah.
It's kind of no coming back from there.
And they're ruthless.
But you raise an interesting point about people who end up with a lot of power and are particularly known for being part of her brand.
She's a diva.
Is that she's a diva? Is
mother.
She's mother.
As I would say.
Actually, the New Yorker piece described her as one of the city's last living broads.
Yeah, like an old-timey broad.
Belty, and profane. Yeah.
Like her idol is Betty Davis, who I also consider like an old-timey broad. Listen, I don't know a lot about Broadway. I should know more. But I read this story and I was like, okay, let me get the facts straight. So there were two theaters and two plays going on at the same time. The sound was really bad. So Patti, when she was in her dressing room or performing, was hearing the noise from the other production. And she was kind of annoyed by it. And her stage manager says, write a letter to them. She's like, okay. So she wrote a letter. And they were able to fix the sound between the two rooms, right? She sent flowers to the crew and to the cast to thank them. So you kind of think that's the end of the story. But then it was the other two Broadway performers who then I believe took to social media and said she was bullying them and accused them of microaggressions.
Yes.
And then Patti is interviewed. She gets this huge profile in the New Yorker by Michael Schulman, who's like this amazing writer. And that comes at the very end of the story where he asks her about it. And she's like, she then sort of isn't so kind to those two women. And so for me, I just see it like squabbling. And then, you know what I mean? And so 500 people signed a letter. That tells you that either she has a past of this, 500 people took it, or 500 people were like, oh, is this what we should do? I'm going to sign it because I don't want to be labeled a bully either. Do you know what I mean?
Not at all. Not at all. I think if you can get 500 people to agree that they don't like you, honey, you're the problem. Like, these are all adults.
That's a good point.
These are all adults, and I'll tell you what, there's two things that stand out for this. I know who LuPone is, and I know she also has a reputation for being very sharp with her comments, and she has a bit of a mean streak, and she does come from that time, that Betty Davis era, where you could get away with stuff like that. This was before the word canceled even existed. So I think that she's doing this because she's just so accustomed to getting away, and she's never had someone check her and go, no, you can't do this. So I think that's the first issue. The second issue, I watched the Tony Awards. I'm a Broadway nerd. I love all that stuff. And there was a theme throughout all of the acceptance speeches, which is them kind of saying, listen, we're the theater kids, we're the outsiders, and we found our network, we found our community, and we love each other. Do we have little squabbles? Yes, but at the end of the day, we have this wonderful, wonderful community. And then I think them signing is them saying, listen, Patti, you're outside of that. We don't do this publicly.
Do you think they told her this to her face, though, ever?
You don't do this publicly. You don't sit down. You can have this feeling. She can be angry that
But they were the ones that tweeted first.
No.
I'm just curious about
it's the fact that she spoke to the media. It's the fact that
Yeah,
she spoke to
exactly.
a reporter
You go to the New
about
Yorker.
You talk to your friends
But
over
they
coffee.
asked her about
Yeah.
it.
If you've got nothing nice to say it at
nothing.
brunch to your friends.
Thank you.
Not the New Yorker.
She's
Okay.
too seasoned.
Well,
She's,
okay,
thank you.
I'm a person.
She's too seasoned to know how this was going to turn out, which makes me believe that she is a bully. When you
just
talk to
find
the
it-
media, it's different.
I don't even know why I'm defending her. But something about this riles me up a little bit because
Why?
there have been so many moments where we've championed Patti LuPone. She speaks her mind. She doesn't
Yes.
take crap from anyone.
No, she doesn't.
believes in her self-worth. When
Stark
she says
political
something,
activist, yeah.
Exactly, political activist. When she says something, really, she said she would
Yes.
never perform in front of Donald Trump.
Yes.
Why? And she said, because I hate that blah, blah, blah,
Yeah,
blah,
yeah.
blah. How's that? It went viral. We all championed her. And she messes up, and it's just like,
Look.
that's
But this
it?
is no. This is a
I
this
don't
is
feel
no.
so fickle.
This is a career of messing up. This is not a one-time deal. And also,
What,
you know
a
what?
career of messing up? Like what else?
attacking the
Why did
president,
I supposed to
whoever.
lie?
Exactly. Attacking the president, which a lot is one thing. When you are punching down on a fellow artist and saying you're no diva, you only have 7 shows and I have 31, darling. That's punching down, and that's
Good
where it's
point.
a problem. When you
It's a
don't say
good
those things
point.
publicly and expect no one to come back to you and say, you know what, you need to shut your mouth. We don't need that energy here.
What I find interesting though is like this person. We've all known people in our careers who are larger than life
Yeah.
and who get known for being very powerful. I think in both genders, we've worked with people like this before.
we have.
Who to their face, everyone's like, "Oh, you're iconic, you're legendary, you're this, you're that," and then behind closed doors, everyone has a terrible story about that person. So I guess I just wonder: is this the only way to get someone of that stature who actually is secretly kind of a villain to hear the
hear.
message?
Ah.
Or if everyone along the way was actually saying, who are at the same level as her, I understand power imbalances,
Yep.
but who are actually at the same level as Patti LuPone, were being like, "Hey, Patti, you know what? Like, culture's moved
And maybe
on.
they tried
Can't-
and then they got cussed out.
I don't know.
What about,
Yeah,
what
go.
about
And
this?
two things can be true at once.
I was just gonna say, this is anecdotally, you have not anecdotally, in fact, you have a beautiful story about Patti LuPone. I'm guessing there are other people.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Just wait,
Is
just, you
it
haven't there-
beautiful to ask a stranger to pick chicken out of your
that's
teeth?
true.
she's-
It's a weird request.
I bet.
It's a weird thing to
know
ask
what,
someone
Angela's
you
not
just
wrong.
met.
Angela's
I'm
not wrong.
sorry.
Angela's
I
not
would
wrong.
like to wager that there are people who have great stories about Patti LuPone. I would also like to wager that there are people who have terrible stories about Patti LuPone. What does that make Patti LuPone? A very complicated person.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It makes all of us. We
All
all
of
sometimes
us.
do stuff. I will say, Patti LuPone, if you are indeed the most prolific Broadway star of all time, you really have time to write a letter about some noise complaints to the only all-black ensemble production next door?
For these prehistoric buildings, by the way, but this is
You know
not
what I
this is not
mean?
the
I'm like,
production. These are
girl,
old buildings.
We gotta book you on some more podcasts because she doesn't have much time on her hands.
Right, thank you.
I'm like, she needs more to do if that's what you're gonna spend your time on.
I hope that the moral of this story is she has since apologized, and she was sort of put in the corner, as you do with the child. Like you're in the corner, you can't come to the events that you want to come to. So hopefully she's going to learn something out of this and actually change her stripes, and that the community will at least give her another chance. I mean,
Yeah.
that's what you want. You want a redemption story a little bit, but if the behavior doesn't change, then there's another story. Can we at least get to that
I
point where
agree.
we assume that?
Peacemaker. Yeah.
I love that hopefulness. I love that in you. I love that.
Hey, you, come a bit closer. We've got so many more must-see interviews, spicy debates, lifestyle tips, and pop culture moments. So subscribe to our channel by tapping the logo below and don't miss out.